Welcome back to History of the W, Episode 7. We have another special guest with us today. Really excited to talk to our guest. It's been quite a while since we've seen him, quite a while since we talked to him, all of us, one way or another. And we should have a heck of a show today. And again, my name is Pete Garcia. I'm one of the hosts here of History of the W. And this is the podcast where we're capturing all the great old Widener's football stories, talk about the glory days, talk about the locker room stories and the lunchroom and all the other cool stuff that we experienced back in the day, playing on this field and hanging out on campus. And I'd just like to introduce my co-host today. First of all, Bunta, give us a little something.
Yeah, no, Pete, thanks for inviting me back to this show again. Glad to be on. And Widener has always been to me, like one of my I would say, when you think about dreams and meeting people and everything else, that comes with it, many stories relate back to Widener. Best years of my life between 92 and 95, right? Playing with you guys. And again, this show here, this podcast is more about us having fun, knowing and sharing our legacy, but also at the same time, sharing with those that that care about the program. So, Mad
How
Dog.
about Bad Dog?
Yeah, guys. Hey, thank you once again. It's a honor and a privilege to be part of the podcast. Same sentiment as Bunta. It was phenomenal. It's all about the relationships. What I love great about the podcast is being able to sit down and reflect with my brothers and see how they saw things out of their lenses with some of the experiences that we all shared together. So once again, thank you once again, Pete, for having it. And I love this guy here that we got on. So it's an honor. Thank you.
So let me give a little background for everybody, refresh everyone's memory about Widener football. Widener football started in 1879. We've had over 732 wins in our history. Only 53 other college programs in history have over 700 wins. Widener is sitting at number 42 as we speak at this point. We are fourth all time in Division III. In that win category, behind Mount Union, Wittenberg, and one of our old nemesis, W&J. Wabash College, who we've beaten the playoffs a few times, I believe, is right behind us at 725. Widener has an all-time overall winning percentage of .614, 2 national championships in 1977 and 1981. And since 1975, we've had over 20 MAC championships. To our credit, 2 of which all 4 of us were part of in 1994 and 1995. And today, for our guest of honor, the Mr. George Jones. Mr. Jones was a running back for Widener University from 1992 to 1995. Mr. Jones was an all-conference running back as well with at least over 800 yards in 1994. For himself, he had over 800 yards rushing in 1994 as part of a 3-headed monster backfield, which included also Anthony Gossett and Robson Little. Mr. Jones is credited with the first backflip in the end zone in 1994 at Quick Stadium. Right? One of the nicest guys I know on the team by far, and is still ready to play. Built like a goddamn brick shit house, working out like crazy, biggest ass arms you've ever seen in your life. Everybody, please welcome Mr. George Jones. How are you, brother?
Yo, thank you, fellas. Man, this is a pleasure. Great introduction. I appreciate it, man. Yeah. I'm just excited. Thank you guys for inviting me. This is a heck of an idea, and just I appreciate you guys putting this together, man. Because oftentimes we get on our own little spaces and tell our stories, but not too many people know it but us, and it's funny because, we're definitely brothers and all, but we all have our individual stories, our individual lenses in it. So, which is awesome. So I'm looking forward to just chatting it up with you guys.
It's awesome. Great to have you, bro. Yeah, it's good to have you, bro. You brought up a good word, lenses, George, because that's something that over time we've been talking, that we've all been able to lend that view to our experiences, talking to, Boonta and I first started this out. He was way out here on the end, and I'm here in the middle, and I didn't know what was going on out there, and he sure as hell didn't know what was going on in the pile in the middle. And it was really nice to start hearing and putting together all these pieces, right? And then, we had Joey Weisinger on a long time back, and he lended some sideline things and this and that, and it really started to educate everybody what was going on during a game when you maybe felt so self-absorbed with your own responsibilities and you didn't realize how much all the moving parts were really coming together and making the team operate. So it's really good to have you on. It's really good to be able to get your perspective on your experience, and how things went from your view, behind that mask, man. Behind that.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah, well, that's a funny story there, Pete.
Yeah.
Talking about lens, right? Because I remember freshman year, before we get into a little bit of like, George and telling about his, his decision and his experience at Widener. I remember that first day of camp, when George came in, with the dark visor, right? I mean, and talk about intimidation. It was just like, man, I don't even know how to handle this guy. Like, how do I even say hi to him? Is he even approachable? Right. That was the thing, right? Being like, all of us new to each other, don't even know each other. And it's like, how do we make friends, or how do we even become like teammates from day one to like, year 4 until we all graduated? I'll tell you what, man, that was a huge, talking about like brotherhood, friendship, everything, right? Teammates. It was just a complete change. You think about like, everything that just went on in those 4 years, man. I mean, we just got closer, 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 like, every year. I mean, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
like the experience, from that. So
I would agree with you, Punta. I know George very well until we started to, we got older. We got a little bit more experience. We got, I remember, I mean, we were always friendly or always could say hi to each other. And then I remember, we got the apartment in Andorn, and we had first home game, and we're gonna have a big party. And I start telling everybody, come over, come over, come over. And I call over. I'll never forget this my whole life. I call over to George and Anthony's room, and George answered the phone. And I said, George, what are you doing? Nothing. I said, Anthony there? No, not Anthony. Well, what are you doing? Nothing. Well, get your ass over here, man. We're having a party. Get over here. And he did. He came over. He came. And then he brought they were all, Jimmy Burton, all these guys came in, whatever. And it was like the regular thing then. Like, yeah, come on. Every time,
Yeah.
man. Get some food. Come on over.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so it was always like, wide and in that regard, and it wasn't until then when it was really started to get close. Like, oh, it was, again, we were always friendly. It was, I'm going to give you a hug when you scored a touchdown, but we weren't hanging out every minute of the day. But after that, we were tight, like good, like that. Like it was a good feeling. So,
Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny. So George, take us back, man. Take us back to before Widener. How did you end up at Widener? Tell us your recruiting process. Who came after you? How did that work out? You're a local boy, man. I mean, you grew up with Widener, coming from Chester.
Yep.
I'm sure you knew just about anything and everything about it at some way, shape, or form. So, but take us back to back in the pre-Widener days and how that worked out.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a heck of a story how I came in to Widener, man. First of all, Widener was not on my map at all. It wasn't nowhere near. I wasn't thinking about Widener at all because, as you guys probably know, but for those that don't know, I was being recruited Division One. I was a Division One athlete, and everything was going as smooth as it could possibly go. I never got hurt at all until 2 games prior to my senior year, tore ACL. Someone fell on me from neighborhood school, Chichester, tore my ACL, and I was in denial for a while. Like, man, no, I didn't tear my ACL. Didn't tear it. I was in denial till the doctor said, "Hey, look at this. You tore it. You definitely tore it." And he hit me with the heartbreaker saying, "Hey man, you're not going to get any scholarships after this. Nothing." I was like, "What?" For a 17-year-old kid with a big head, man, that really hurt me hard. They're like, "Nah, come on." So from that moment on, I was just all about proving them wrong. And I ended up getting some offers. I actually could have went to Westchester, but they wanted me to go right away. I wouldn't have had a summer. They wanted me to jump right in school. Um, and I looked at Widener. It's funny how Widener came to be. So we know our coach, Coach Cubitt. Coach Cubitt. He stepped in the picture. All of a sudden, he came over to Chester. He brought maybe 4 or 5 guys in a room, and we're talking whatnot. And he keeps me after. He's like, "I want you to hang afterwards." I'm still on crutches. I'm like, I had my surgery and all that. I'm still on crutches. He's like, "Hey man, fill out this application. I want to get you in, blah, blah, blah." Everything he said was going one in and out the other. I was still getting some spotty recruiting from like Maine, and actually one time Louisville just came in the building. I still thought I had a slither of chance to go D1 while he's telling me all this. But the funny thing was, right, he gave me the application, said fill it out. I balled it up, but I didn't throw it away. I didn't throw it away. So I don't know if that was just telling me, you know, I was going to keep that bridge open or what. But he was pretty smart. So like the next day or so, I didn't fill it out. He came if not the next day, the day after. He goes right to my counselor's office and says, "Hey, George didn't fill out this application. So he knew just how to get me. So she calls me to the office. So she calls me to the, "Hey, George, why you didn't fill out this application, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, all right. So I begrudgingly filled it out. I felt like I was being made to fill out the application.
Yeah.
So I do that, and then he calls me the next day. He said, "You're in, George. You're in." The very next day.
That's when they had the pool, man. They had the pool back then. They don't have that kind of pool now. Shit.
Even then, I wasn't sold. I was just like, "Okay, cool, bye. See you later." You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but yeah, that was the start of my Widener, look, and then slowly schools did start falling off, and like I said, I ended up having the choice to go to Westchester, and but then I didn't, and then I had a buddy of mine really convinced me to come here. I don't know if you guys remember him. He only came 1 year, but he didn't even come a year. He came to camp, and that was Tony Mosley. I don't know if you know that name, but he came. He was like a linebacker or slash D-back, but he convinced me. He's like, "Yeah, you should go. You should go." I'm like, "All right, well, I don't want to go to Westchester right away," and everybody else fell off. So you know what? I'm gonna go. And plus, Cubitt pretty much said, "Hey, you could come and start right away." So I'm like, "All right," especially coming off an injury. So, so I was like, "All right, you know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go ahead and go." So that's what ended up getting me there. I mean, between Cubitt's stick-to-itiveness kept coming at me, and my friend coming over, I was like, "All right, you know what? I'm gonna do it."
That's a good story.
Yeah.
There's quite a few of us have had rocky experiences coming in, crash landing at Widener. You know what I mean? Right?
George, it's still on my mind here. Like how, with your knee, how, recuperated were you? Like, were you 75%, 80%, or 90%, or 100% when you came into camp?
Yeah, you know what? I was not 100%. I was
Right. I think I
definitely,
remember that.
yeah, I was only, so I had surgery Thanksgiving. That's when I had surgery. So it wasn't even a full year, you
Right,
know.
right.
And, back then I was lucky they had just started the arthroscopic, surgeries. Before that, they just throw you in a cast, and give you that long incision. But I was not 100%. I remember it's funny, camp. I guess like the second day of camp, when we did the 40s. I remember you Bunta, and I remember us all like running the 40s and all, and I won, I think, every race, and I made it to like whatever the four fastest, whatever it was, four or
Yeah,
five
yeah,
fastest. I remember you Bunta and Bill Bailey.
Bill
yeah,
Bailey.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Singleton. I think it was
Chuck Singleton.
Yeah,
yes,
Yeah. I
yes.
knew Chuck. Danny and I played with Chuck in the All-Star game in Delaware, so that's how we knew him. But yeah, he was fast. He was real fast.
yeah.
So who
But
won the race?
I think
uh,
Bailey.
Bailey, I think. Wasn't it?
Bailey
Yeah.
won. Yeah,
This
Yeah,
guy's.
I think I came in second. Actually, I think Bunta probably was. I don't know who came in after that, but
yeah.
I was not 100%. But what helped me, but was crazy, right? I'm going back. I actually was able to play run track that year. Believe it or not, I ran track. That I was just that crazy. I was in the gym all the time. Wasn't nothing gonna hold me back. I was so like focused. I was in a tunnel, man. They did a big article on me, how I made it to run track. I mean, it was a humbling experience because I was getting beat by jokers that would never beat me before, but
Hmm.
I made it to run track, and it was just really because it was 4 months. 4 months I made it to run track, which is crazy. So, I worked
Yeah.
hard and got back into it. So, yeah, all types of motivation by the time I got there, man. I was just
That's good.
had a chip on my shoulder.
What?
Right,
George,
right.
let me ask you
Remind.
this. Well, our own selfish reasons, thank God that you did go to Widener because it was a pleasure, obviously, right? And you're one of my favorites. But let me ask you this. When you healed up 100%, did you ever think about transferring out, trying to go back to D1 once you went to Widener?
Yes, I did. That's a good question. After the first year, I was disappointed. Like the first year, just how it went. I did get time, but I had to play with a brace. If you guys remember, I had to play with that big old brace on my my knee.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't myself, man. I had to learn how to run people over. I was more of a slasher, slasher, run by you. I wasn't a guy to
Well,
just run you over, but I had to learn how to run people over with that because I didn't have the mobility that I normally had. So, but that first year, I was disappointed, just playing time, and we weren't winning much. I mean, it just wasn't. So at the end of the year, you know how Cuban, you have your one-on-ones, your interviews at the end. I was like, I didn't tell him I don't think I told him I was ready to go, but he kind of knew. He knew that I was like ready to get up out of there.
Hmm.
And he gave me that, man, I love you, man. I love you. I remember him saying that. But you know what? But what screwed me up? You talking about, I know we all had our adversities, but my first semester I really screwed up a couple classes and had a low GPA. So I didn't even have the GPA to transfer at that point in time. So I had to go to summer school, matter of fact, to make up a couple classes. So I went to DCCC, and that sucked, being in the hot, being hot, catching the bus. I had to catch the bus there. It was sucked.
Mm.
That's when they
Yeah.
didn't have virtual. Like now we got virtual.
Yeah. Yeah. You had to go to class back then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
That's a
was
good
gonna.
story, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
story because I mean, like, talk about hard working, right? I mean, even though we try to obtain the grades, and be compliant, to be able to play, and I mean, you have to work for it. You're right. I mean, like you said today, everything's all by like virtual computers and everything. Like back then we had to get up to go somewhere. We had to drive to go somewhere, and you
Mhm.
know, and it's a lot of work, determination to do what we need to do. So yeah, Pete,
Absolutely.
sorry about that.
Yeah, no, God forbid it was raining or snowing or whatever, and you're like, I don't, like, or like you had a class scheduled over lunchtime. Oh man, for me that was terrible, right? Like I'm starving to death, right? So like, yeah, you had to be ready to go. But I was going to ask, and you kind of alluded to it, George, but I don't recall. Maybe you could help enlighten us. Well, what kind of playing time did you get freshman year? I don't remember. I mean,
It was
refresh
it
us.
was
Yeah.
yeah, it was spotty.
Yeah.
I had a couple games. I think I might have started a game or two. Um, I remember because me and Bill Bailey actually shared a room in camp. So but I ended up getting like hurt and stuff, like randomly hurt, twisted an ankle. It was bad. I used to hate that walk. We had to walk all the way up to the field,
Field.
up that
Yeah.
hill and everything. And I had that big cumbersome brace on. And by the time I got
Yeah.
there, my knee was stiff and everything. By the time I got up,
Yeah.
I hated it, man. And then that field, man, used to have, man, those holes in the middle of the field and everything. It was just, I mean, I
Yeah.
know it was nice. The location was nice, right? Because people could just look out their dorms and catch us out on the field. But for us, man, I didn't. I hated that walk, man. But yeah, I had some spotty. But I wasn't myself either from a running standpoint, so that's probably played into it too. Just as far as like time, I know Singleton ended up getting some starts. I think he probably ended up getting a little bit more playing time than I did. So it was spotty.
Yeah, I think he was
Gotcha.
hurt too, like with he
Yeah.
had ankle issues as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
So, George, let me ask you this. Yeah, Pete.
No. Go ahead, please.
So, George, I came in your junior year, okay, and I know that you're 100% then with Anthony back there, and then Rob Sung came in. And when I look at the three running backs, you three, it's funny how you mentioned that when you're in high school, you're more elusive in a like a slasher and not so much a contact guy. But when I saw you junior year, when I came in junior senior year, you took on that contact pretty good to almost where you thrived on that than more being a slasher. Like Anthony was more of a slasher, right? Rob Son did his thing, but I knew that you weren't going to shy away from dropping the shoulder, and I think that you pretty much love that style. So when you had to switch, I guess your running style, and you could still slash then too. Did you enjoy more running people over and slashing, or because that to me is like when I saw George get the ball, I'm like he's going to drop someone. Almost like you went out of your way to drop the shoulder on someone, right? So
Yeah.
did you develop that to where you enjoyed that type of running?
You know what? I did like it. I guess with the brace inhibiting, my movement a little bit. It allowed me to build that up. So I was able to do that. So by the time you saw me, I was able to do whatever. I could slash, I could run you over
Yeah.
and do whatever. Definitely by the time you saw me, the game was easy. By the time I was like, the game felt really easy to me. In my
You're
Well,
junior
you
welcome.
made
year.
it hard for everyone
You're
else.
yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome, George.
Yeah, thanks to
Yeah,
Pete,
thank
just
you.
opening those holes, man.
I won't take. I only take 1/5 of the credit.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of opening holes and the linemen doing their job, I think you did an awesome job as well, blocking for other running
Hell yeah.
backs because
Yeah.
I remember I would look over practice. I remember our freshman year, Woody was the running backs coach, and how you would take on the defense and take their legs out. You know how you guys were like blowing through, I think to a point where you're pissing like Coach Swan off because you're like blowing out their knees, and the way you guys were blocking was just incredible. And then, and I had the pleasure of like, blocking for you guys, because I think at one point I was like, damn it, my back is being destroyed because you guys were like running into my back while I was like, pushing and driving, the cornerback, to a point, and that's when the famous back flap, that came out. And I was like, you know what? I need one of those. I have to get one because these guys are running into my back. And I think that's when Cubit finally like, all right, what's the equipment guy's name? The old
Oh
the
yeah,
guy,
Herb.
Herb, yeah.
Herb.
Her.
That's when they went and got one of those like back flaps for me and I was like, you know what, that was the best investment ever because I would always feel like bruises and pain from the helmets, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Woody. Man, Woody definitely had us hitting those bags, practicing those blocks. Oh
Yeah.
man, we were so disciplined with that, man, between me and Gossett, and I mean, because honestly, once you got rid of that D back on the, because we ran option so
Yeah.
much. Once you got rid of that D back, man, it's off to the races. So
Yeah.
we would aim for that outside leg, man, and just take them right out. People hated us,
Yeah.
like you said, in camp, and in practice, people hated us because we
To a
would,
point.
man.
To a point, I looked over. I'm like, man, I don't even want to be a running back because you guys work your butts off, man, with those blocks. And yeah, definitely, Woody did definitely, work you guys to make you guys really good blockers, man. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
That was
key,
fun.
man. I mean, I joke, but I joke around, but it was such a fucking pleasure to watch you guys motor, man. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I would maybe cut a linebacker and I'd be able to like look up and I'd go, there he goes. There he goes. Look at him. Look at him. I mean, and I could feel you like I could feel you like do this and then take off. And it was like, holy shit, man. It just like you felt like you got passed by a rocket powered horse, man. Like just like holy shit, look at that guy. Like,
Yeah.
It's
it
funny
was
you say
such a pleasure, man. It really was. It was something else.
Yeah,
You
it's
know, you
funny
mean you
say
may I
that.
mean you guys, I mean, listen, the, we worked our ass off. All right, we did. Like don't there's no, I can't sugarcoat that, but man, you guys made it so easy. You did. You really did.
Hey
Whew,
man, I
because
appreciate what
yeah,
you were doing,
yeah,
Pete. All
shit.
that work, that hard work, man, in the trenches. And back to what Mad Dog saying, how he saw me run, and I was talking about how confident I was at that point in time. This is how confident I was, and because we had three running backs, you had to get yours anyway, right? You had to
Yeah,
you had to make the best of it when you were in there.
yeah.
Hmm.
I wouldn't get that many carries. Pete, we didn't get that
No,
many
you'd be like
carries.
7 for 118. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was like that's what like just in '94 alone, George, the three of you together. And now this is not. Let's just put some statistics out there. So you talk about you, George, you, Anthony, and Robson, right? Now you're not counting when Vic ran the ball, Dougie McLaughlin, Larry Barnes, Jeff Staggerwald, anybody else. The three of you had 2,100 yards rushing,
That's crazy.
right? That's not counting everybody else. And remember, we changed the offense in '95, and the reason was when we ran the option and the quarterback ran it, we only got 7 yards a carry. That was Cubitt's reason. 7 yards a carry for the quarterback.
That's crazy.
Okay, so I mean, we were close to 3,000 yards rushing in
Yeah.
'94. So I'm telling you, so getting yours like it was 7 for 118 was light work, man. It was no problem, man. Like, but it was a hell of a shot. I mean, that's all we needed. We didn't,
Absolutely.
we brought a bazooka to the game every week, and we fired a water gun, and we won. You know what I mean? Like that's what was going on. So
Yeah, it was
it's
a hell of
crazy.
a tandem.
Yeah, yeah.
Hell
Oh,
of a three-man tandem.
for sure.
Like I said, I was so confident. I remember knowing I'm getting the ball, and I looked down on the field to see where I'm at because I knew my touchdown. Oh, we're in a 50. Okay, I'm about to be a 50-yard touchdown right there. That's how confident I was out there, man. It's
That's
crazy.
awesome. Great feeling, man.
Yes, it is.
So
Yeah.
Yes,
George,
it
let
is.
me ask you this: because we weren't in the running back room, right, with the three of you guys, and wondering what your relationship was with the other two, and I know there's always internal competition because we want to be the best we can be. But how was it between the three of you as far as knowing that it was going to be a shared backfield? But, everyone wanted the ball. Like, dude, to get you guys in rhythm, you need more than 7 carries to get you going. And same with Anthony and Robson and Pete. Don't forget that we also ditched the ball to the guy in our upper right corner and Bunta, too, when he almost
Yeah,
broke the receiving record, right?
yeah.
So there's only one football going around. So George, how did you guys work that out in the the running back room. How was that with you guys all together? Was there a support between the three of you? Was it how was that?
Well, me and Gossett, we already had a really tight relationship because we were roommates and everything. So we and Razan came on. We brought him in, and he was different than us two, to say the least. But we didn't have any beef at all. You know, we had confidence in each other, and we knew that when we were gonna block for each other. We were gonna, each one had different skill sets. So we were all about winning, honestly. I mean, yeah, I wanted mine. Obviously, I wanted mine. I wanted to shine, but I saw the talent we had, and I knew coming from the bottom, right, from my freshman year, seeing what the talent ended up being by my junior year, when we built the field and everything, the brand new field and everything, man, it was like night and day. And just thinking about that, right, the bottom, Pete knows this, Boot knows this. Remember the buses and everything when we first got there? Remember, remember what we used to eat on the buses?
Oh man.
The ham and cheese.
Yeah. We
I don't know
we
what
brought up a
that's.
lot of that, George. Like, remember when we would play at home at the old stadium? We would used to go into the basketball court for halftime, and
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes
The
we had to sit on
armory.
the ground. We didn't even have chairs sometimes and stuff, man. Just we put up with a lot, man. Like
Yeah,
to do that, and I think we've brought this up before. Like, the school has decent facilities, and you got to keep doing that, right? You want to keep attracting people and bringing stuff up. But I feel like, you know, we were tougher because of it. We were better players, tougher kids. You can't. It's different today. I mean, that whole aspect of culture is out there. And when you play football, you do all these things, and you're part of the
yeah,
culture. But I think we just had it organically, and then we just were all that talented. And even if we didn't work that hard off season stuff like that, some guys didn't, some guys did, but it was just it was a cool feeling though, man. I don't know if that's exists anymore.
Hmm.
You know, you know.
yeah. No, it was great to see the difference. We and then we started getting McDonald's. We had TV on the buses and stuff like that. Man, it was just great to see. And junior year. I know, right? Junior year, I just felt we could do something special. And that's why, I didn't really, hey, I could have demanded the ball more or whatever, but it didn't make sense. We were winning. Everybody was getting theirs. I know, Pete, you said when it came in, I had 800 that year, probably during the regular season, but me and Anthony finished, if you include the playoffs, over 900 yards apiece.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, it was something that I don't know has been done. It was done previously, but I don't think it's been done since. And then Robson had like over 600. So
yeah. He was like
crazy.
Yeah.
something like that. It was a lot of yards, and it was a lot of work, and
Absolutely.
it was something. It was very special, and uh, again, to play a small fraction of it, it's always been a treat, like we can talk some bullshit with some people and be like, you should have seen these fucking guys. They were so
Yeah.
fast. I mean, it wasn't even funny.
We
We just
uh,
laugh.
we
Look how
had so
fucking
much
fast he is.
speed.
Like,
We had
Jesus
so much
Christ.
speed on the
Yeah,
team, man. Like
yeah.
speed, skills. I mean, anybody could just get that ball and like go in the end zone. I mean, that's how like good of a team we were. I mean, we don't need. I mean, just a little block here, a little block there. I mean, we create
Yes.
plays and just go. And that's kind of how. When I look back to our team, I'm just thinking like I can never see a team kind of like how we were, not only physically, speed wise, but just from the skill overall. I don't think anybody could match us.
Nah,
From our
No.
so.
those games were over at halftime. If you remember,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was drinking Gatorade.
Yeah.
sitting on the bench.
So in '94, I missed both Jeff Bell and I missed 3 games. They kind of overlapped a little bit, and for me, I missed the 3 easiest games. I missed like Juniata, Del Val, and Albright or something. Like we just 49-7 or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
and it was like lucky, and we beat Del Val. Del Val was 49-7, and I remember being at practice on Monday. My leg was in a brace and everything, and Cubit's going over this, that, and the other, and he said, and we had 444 yards rushing. Right, and he looked at me and he goes, "You didn't even need to be in there, Garcia." Right, and I went, if I was there to be 600, and he was like, "Oh," and everyone's like, "Oh, yeah," like a fucking
Yeah.
always busting balls,
Always. That's Cuban. That's Cuban.
Yeah, shit.
But the best thing about that too, when our other teammates, were celebrating their success and celebrating, their yards and their carries. For me, I could care less if I got one catch, two catch, three catch, because it's all about the team thing, and never did I walk back and say, damn it, I didn't get a pass this game, or damn it, I got one pass this game. It was just like, man, your time will come. You'll get your chance, and because you know what? We love to spread the ball, and we have so many guys that, like I said, we were great athletes, from the running backs to the receivers. I mean, we were just overall like pretty skilled, and we can hit it on the outside, right up the middle, or just go deep. And it's just one of those things where, as a team, I think nobody ever complained about getting any catches or, things like that. So, from a receiving end, I felt like, we were coached very well, to be a team, and to be honest with you, George, I mean, I love playing with you because like I'm looking over, I'm like, man, those Z screens, those hammers. George comes down. I'm sure he's gonna kick somebody out, man. Jordan goes in motion. He's kicking somebody out, man. He's gonna level somebody.
Oh man.
Good times, man. Good times.
Absolutely.
That's the truth. Oh my goodness, that's funny. That's funny. I mean, we've always brought up a lot of stuff behind the scenes too, George. I mean, there was always things happening in the cafeteria or parties or whatever. Man, it's just I swear, when we talked to Coach Zwan last month, and we were, he brought up a lot of the modern stuff, the NIL things and the this and that and whatever. And it's just like, I said to him, like, yeah, I don't know how kids, do it today. I said, I felt like we were just a bunch of pirates roving the lands out there, just, hoping that we all went to class. And then we showed up at 3:00 and beat the shit out of a bunch of people at practice. And then Saturdays at 1, we just steamrolled over. And it was just like, I hope he shows up today. It was so different, man. Oh man, so that's funny. I don't know.
So George, how was your experience with like the parties, at frat row? Because I think I started seeing it more often. I think maybe our junior or senior year, seeing you hang out more of those parties and just hanging out with everybody, man. Like,
Yeah.
I for sure, I didn't know if you were a drinker, or you just like to hang out, but like
maybe a little bit, huh, George?
Yeah.
I had a few.
I think you were a little tipsy there, at some of the ones, like I said, it's kind of funny, I was thinking like, George, all-American athlete, and very well behaved. This guy's not going to touch an ounce of beer or alcohol. And then I see him at some of the parties. I'm like, all right, okay.
If he, George, you can respond to this too, but like, there was a segregation for a while. I mean, there wasn't, you guys, white guys and black guys, there wasn't a lot of that cross mingling at the fraternities very often. Now, maybe somewhere else or in the bars or whatever, but it started to happen, and I mean, I'm just saying what I thought, what I saw, or maybe what I remember. But you could respond differently. I think the integration started to happen more as we got more, aware of everybody, more comfortable, more friendly, and
Yeah.
just was just open at that point. So I think it, it became that over time.
Yeah, no, it's definitely you know, we had kind of our thing. When I say we, I say, African American or, people
Yeah.
of color. We had our own parties. I remember when I first started, they had this small little like row home. We used to have parties where basically it felt so unstable in there, like the floor was gonna fall through. You
It probably
didn't even
was,
have
man.
to.
Yeah.
They'll be in there dancing, right? You didn't even have to dance, but you look like you're dancing because you're just like. But as a couple years went on, I did, like say senior year, definitely went down there, hang out a few
Yeah.
times at the frat row and all. Yeah, I've been in there a few times hanging out. Yeah, I had my drinks. I used to have, I like to have a little fun. I wasn't wild or anything, but I had a little fun, here and there. I drink, and I had some stories I can tell you there, but it was nice though. It was nice that we pretty much, it was like a whole different world, the
Yeah.
Widener. So you just
Right.
get in where you fit in, So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Like to me, I didn't really care, because like down the hall, I think one of the Clarences, had a room because I was in Can, and the first floor, I think in one of the corner rooms or something, there was like a bunch of guys down there. I would just go down there. Do you remember what's his name? Oh, it was just in my head. Zeus. Remember Zeus?
Oh,
oh my
Daps.
God.
Yeah.
I
Dancing
got a
Yeah.
story
Prescott.
for y'all. I got a
Yeah.
story
Yes.
for Zeus.
Oh.
Yeah. So that again, intimidating as anything. And once you get to know him, it was just like, man, soft, friendly. It
Yeah.
was just breaking that
Uh,
ice.
Yeah.
And I would see him down there and be like, I would just walk in and be like, yo, what's going on, fella? Because it was like, hey, like cool or not, whatever. And then after a while, it's just like,
yeah.
then teammates, friends, and that was the thing. Yeah, that was very, very like intimidating as anything because he was like
Oh,
big
yeah.
and stocky, and and I'm
He
like,
was
what?
one of a kind. One of a
Yeah.
kind.
Oh, yeah. He was.
I'll tell you this
Man.
story. I'll tell you guys this story since you brought up Zeus Dap. Same guys. So first camp. We stayed in I think it's called, was it not I want to say Kapelski, but no, what's the dorm? Um
Sharples and all those ones over there. And
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I walk in after we did I think we did 40s first. Yeah, we did 40. We did all the running stuff first, right? So I walk in after doing that. He's like pent up against the wall. And I didn't know him from nobody. I know him from no. I'm like, who's this dude? Big dude, no neck, no neck, just big, standing up against the wall. First thing he says, he don't know me, I don't know him. He's like, yo, how'd you do? I'm like, what you mean? They ran today. How'd you do? I'm like, oh, I did all right. I came in whatever I said I came, whatever I ran in, whatever. I was like, no, I threw it back at him. I said, how'd you do? He was like, I did all right. He said, but tomorrow we lift and I'm getting it in.
And I bet you he did too, man. I bet you he threw it up.
I'm like, damn, who's this guy? He's got to be starting, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Big as a house.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. I think his feet were in concrete, though, man. He couldn't move.
He
He
had
could
no
lift, but he
legs,
couldn't move.
man. No
He had no
legs.
legs, exactly. They ended up moving him to offensive line because he couldn't go. He was, there was no chance of him cracking the two deep because he was, had no mobility. He was just strong. And I'll tell you a quick story. They moved him to offensive line, and we were watching a film on a Monday, and we threw an interception. So Sama just fast forwarded, and I'm like, Coach, run that back, because I hit somebody on the play, and you see from the end zone, and everybody running up real fast. So they rewind it back, and they see me running, and the guy came up to me, and I went boom, and I hit him with my forearm in the helmet and knocked him down. And I crushed the guy and went and made a tackle. And Dap goes, God damn, Garcia, you killed the fucking shit out of that guy. Like you killed that fucker. He was funny as hell, man.
Yeah, he was funny, man. That was a funny dude.
Yeah. But but I know, but he's all like upper body. He's huge, like his his pectoral muscles and his neck muscles and his back. It was just like he was just stocky as anything, and
intimidating for sure.
Yeah. He looked like he came out of wrestling or something, man. Oh man. That's funny.
But it's funny. I want to ask you guys, like, when you come to camp, right, and you see all these guys, and you remember how big the depth chart was. Were you guys intimidated when you see all that? Because we had over 100 guys and whatnot. Did it ever, and you never think about like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it, man. You
like
see
you
yourself
mean our
first year
or second year? You mean? Or
the first, especially that first year, especially when
the first. The first year for me was just like, my expectation was like nobody knew me, and for me it was just to seeing the field as like a special teams guy. That for me was kind of like my expectation, because we were like 25, 26 deep, I think in the with the receivers, and there was a couple seniors on there, and then and we had like a 26, 27-year-old. Remember what's his name? I think it was an Alpha Sig guy. Pete, remember
I
starts
remember.
with an F. Last name started with an F, I think.
I can't remember his name. I know who you're talking about though. Yeah.
Like he transferred and played all over the place. He's like 26, 27-year-old coming out and playing. And I mean, it was tough. It wasn't easy. But at the same time, it's just like, man, where am I going to be on this? Because I never played on a team with like 25, 26 guys, competing for a spot.
Right.
Maybe 6 to 8. And then at the same time, it's like, man, yeah, can I make it? And you just got to work hard, and that was the thing, like year one was, definitely intimidating in that sense, seeing all the kids trying to, compete for like 3 positions, the X, Y, and then, and the Z, so.
I know for me, when I came to camp, like to check in, and, I was walking to the dorms and I saw the coaches and stuff, and I saw Paul Dixon, and I saw two other kids that were freshmen. It was Pete Esposito and Brian Sparkman. I don't know if you guys remember those 2 big dudes.
Yeah,
they were huge. Yeah. And Paul Dixon was big too. He was well over 300 pounds. And I was like, what the fuck? Look at these guys. And I was like 220, right? Like something like that, right? And I remember walking up, and Coach Sama saw me, and he came over to me and passed everybody else and took me and introduced me to the other coaches. And he didn't do that with anybody else. And I was like, something's going on here. And I didn't put 2 and 2 together. And then, but I was still super intimidated. Like, these guys are huge. Look at this. And then when we put the pads on the first day, I don't know if you guys don't remember this or not, but when they put the pads on that year, practice stopped and everybody went over and watched the offensive line versus defensive line. And the first guy I went against was Tony Johnson. Remember Tony Johnson? Right.
Big Tone.
First one. And I jacked him up into the sky. I pushed his shoulder pads into his neck and just pushed him straight up like this. And I drove him back like 5 yards, and I'm like, I'm going to be okay. But I was like, for those first couple of days, I was like, what am I doing here? And then when we got the hit, and I was like, I'm okay. I'm going to be okay. But it was, it was quite intimidating to walk in and see these 300-pound guys back then in 1992. I was like, what the fuck?
Well,
I'm out of my league. Yeah.
Speaking of that story, like, do you remember, our center, Coop?
Sure.
Him
and
talking,
Wilmot.
Yeah.
Talking about, like, muscle, and
Oh, yeah.
it was just like, I think of those guys. I was like, military guys, or like Muscle Magazine guys, and and then Coop was one that, I think him and Wilmot, like, I think trying to get somebody to do the red eye, being the victim, the red eye. Do you remember that, George? I think it was
I
in the
don't.
field. It was in the field house, and I think that's when Cubes got wind of it, and then he locked that stuff down, because that
Yeah.
was kind of like almost like hazing in a way, and it was like, those two guys were,
It was
from
in
the
the
previous.
auditorium. We were in the.
Was it in
Remember
the
they made us.
auditorium?
We were all in the
I thought
auditorium.
they tried it at the field house
Yeah,
as well.
maybe they might have. I
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, I had to go up on stage at the auditorium too. And I remember the middle linebacker that year. What was his name? Pitts. Mike
Dude,
Pitts.
big
Mike
dude.
Pitts.
Yeah.
Right, and he was sitting a few rows ahead of me, and some kid. They wanted some freshman to go up there, and he's like, "I'm not going up there." And Mike Pitts turns around and goes, "What position you play?" And he said, "Quarterback." He goes, "I'd go up there if I were you." The kid got up, he went up on the stage. Yeah, like, that guy was a scary dude. That guy was a scary.
Oh
Scary.
yeah.
That guy rung my bell one play,
Oh
man.
man, I
Holy
think he
crap.
got everybody.
Yeah. Whew, man.
I'd go
Yeah.
up there if I were you.
Yeah, I go up there. That guy, man, he became some like big time detective in Philly and was part of some huge scandal. Like he embezzled a bunch of money and stuff like that.
Wow,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. It's crazy. But he was a scary dude, man. I mean, Gary, you should have seen this guy, man. You couldn't fit a piece of paper between his face and his face mask. I mean, he was like, he was the second leading tackler on the team in 1992, and he missed the last 3 games. He blew out his knee. That's I mean,
Wow.
he was a killer, man. He was, yeah. I think Blaze ended up being the lead tackler in '92, but yeah, he was a scary guy.
He was huge, dude. Big
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. Those guys, man. It's yeah, it's funny. It's just, you come in and we all broke through in one way or another in our own way, which was nice to see, and all had our own story and success and stuff like that, and played our own role, and it's here we are. You know what I mean? A million years later.
Yeah.
So George, tell us a little more about your view of the world, like, as a running back, some of the things that you had to, the way you saw things. Boonta and I and Gary have all shared our stories from our particular positions, what we were dealing with, what we were going against, not knowing what was happening on the side or inside, or certainly not in the behind. So maybe you can give us a little more perspective of, just how you saw things, from your lens, like you said earlier.
Yeah. It's funny when I think about my career at Widener, it was like up and down. I thought some very up moments and some very down moments. One of the things, I guess, from my lens that happened, like you talked about it earlier, about us changing the offense. So, our junior year, we was very successful. We went, to that second round and lost to WNJ. So the next year, again, you mentioned we ran for all those yards. So coming in the senior year, the expectations were even higher. Like we really, I thought we was going to run the table then. So I was really energized, and then all of a sudden he changes the offense, and I'm like, what, and why? Like if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Mhm.
So I remember those first 2 games, we lost the first 2 games. The change into the eye, he made Robson, the focal point in the eye, and then he brought in the wing offense. The wing offense was kind of like a secondary offense, like me and Gossett would come in. So the first 2 games, I think combined, me and Gossett maybe had like 10 carries. The first, we didn't have that many the year before, but then in the first 2 games we only had 10 carries, and we lost both games. So you talking about, man, that was my down moment there. Like, cause that's where I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, I was so pissed, man. And I loved the game. I never felt so more pissed in my life, knowing our capability was so much more.
Mhm.
With him changing the offense like that, it just totally, it didn't put us in the best position. Putting the best players on the field. I was on the sideline, instead of playing. So I was just, pissed. I'm being nice is pissed, like a pissed. I was beyond pissed, put it like that at that point in
Mhm.
time. Wasn't selfish either. I wasn't being selfish, just that I knew what, you know, I brought to the table. I knew what Gossett brought, you know. So we both. It's funny. So after that second game, matter of fact, on the bus, I don't know if any of you guys remember it, but I literally was cursing. You never see me mad, but I was so mad on that. I think it was from FDU when we was coming back
Yeah,
from FDU.
that was a tough game, man. I mean, we should have won that game, and everybody took it out on the defense. I mean, we put up 35 points, man, and we still lost, but we
Yeah,
should,
yeah,
it's a tough. It was tough. Yeah.
yeah. It hurt, man. It hurt, especially with me not being able to contribute the way I thought it would. And funny thing was the next day, like that Monday, we watch film. Usually Monday's film day.
Mhm.
Me and Goss, we were so pissed. We said, you know what? We're going to Granite Run. we went. We
Went to the
we
mall.
went to the Granite Run Mall instead of going into film day. It's like, you know, we go into Granite Run Mall, just hang out, whatever. We come back. That's when this tells you how dated it was, how old it was back in the day. We had freaking voicemails and stuff. Guess who's on our voicemail?
Yeah,
Cubes.
yeah.
Cubes right there. Hey, you guys, I want to talk to y'all. Y'all wasn't here. Hey, come on down to the Swartz. Dark by then, everything was over by then. I'm like, oh man. So we go down there, man, and that was just like it got even rougher by when I got down there because Q basically wanted to talk to us one on one.
Mm.
He I guess told Gossett everything he wanted to hear, so he came out smiling. I go in there and he kind of beat me up. It's like, you think you're above the team and all this stuff. I'm like, yo, I've never been that guy. He even asked me, he's like, who you think's better? He actually pinned us against each
Are
other.
you serious?
Oh man, yeah,
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah.
yeah.
No.
It was three backs. I was like, I think I'm the best back, but I would expect that each one of them would say that.
Yeah.
Each one of the backs would
Yeah.
say, they're better. So. But yeah, man, that was rough. But if you guys remember, that's the start of me going. That's when I went both ways. That was the start of me going both ways because I literally told I was ready. I basically ready to quit for the first time in my life ever, ready to quit. But I told him, I said, hey, look, if I come in, I'll try me on defense because I'm not gonna. I'm too good to be sitting on the bench. I'm like, just give me a shot on defense. And he was like, well, I don't want to lose you on offense, but so that was the start. And like, if you remember Buta, you remember he put me right up against the number one, all you guys, like the top receivers, like, and I hadn't backpedaled in like 2-3 years, so I just had to get my backpedal and everything together. But
It's
by the
yeah.
by the next game, the crazy part about that story, the next game I started on defense.
Well, you were better athletically than probably whoever was out there. I mean,
No.
like let's be honest, right? I mean, that was if we talk about it, bring it up, and I'm going off of a very head trauma, imagine memory here, guys. All right, so, took a couple blows in the head back in the day, but the DBs were the weak point of our defense at 95. Period. End of story. Full stop. Right. We were strong up front. And linebackers were decent, but I think the cornerbacks and DBs were always a question mark since we didn't have Scarpati anymore and Antonio Moore. And it was a, we needed all the
Young
help we
group.
could get.
Very
Yeah,
young
yeah,
group.
yeah. Right.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are probably like, "What the hell is George doing on defense?"
Yeah. Yeah.
That was funny, man.
I mean, I remember hearing that you were quitting, and I was like, "What the fuck? Somebody better go over there and get his ass back here!" Like, no, not after all this, no way. So, when whatever it worked out, I was happy that you were staying with the team and going to help and do whatever. But like, I know me personally, George, I had a rough year in '95. I was not in favor of the change either. I fell out of favor with Scubit. I took a lot of lumps for him at, being captain, and I took a lot of bullshit. And I think I think I should have had a lot more recognition at the end of the year than I did get. And, I thought that after the season, how we used to have the interviews with him, and he didn't give us the interviews that time after our senior season. I felt that was a little bit of a dirty move. I thought, so I've always kind of left a cold shoulder for him after all of that. And, I felt like we were used and discarded very, very quickly when we didn't need to be. It didn't, you know what I mean? So I thought I can feel where you're coming from. I didn't have the moment with him in the season like you did. I wanted to quit every day too, but I wanted to quit every day for 4 years because I'm fat and lazy. But I wish I would have done something in the season. I know there was one practice where he was screaming at me, and I told him to fuck off. But that was it. I mean, I didn't go any further than that. So
Yeah.
It's just again, I've always had a bit of a sour taste at the end with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot
Well,
of
it was definitely a different feel in '95, man. It was. What's crazy is, your guys' freshman, sophomore years, we knew that, took the lumps. And then coming into junior year when I came in with you guys, there wasn't a whole lot of expectation outside the program, right? There was inside the program because you guys knew what talent was there. But then when you start putting it on the field and the wins were coming, we won the MAC. It kind of surprised a lot of people. Well, coming in '95, there was no surprise in anyone, right? ESPN was there, the magazine. I don't know, where'd they have us? Ranked number 5, somewhere in the top 10, right? And the players came in ready to go. None of us changed. But then again, you had our leader that kind of changed his ways. So you don't know how he was dealing with that pressure at the time and overthinking things. And I was always a Zwaner guy. I would love to have seen a conversation between Cuban and Zwan on where they're using George Jones. Because Zwan's like, if you don't want him, I'm taking him, right? And but I'll tell you what, it was not funny. I know we had a lot of injuries that year, a lot of ups and downs. But I remember, guys, we're getting ready for Lycoming for the playoffs. We barely just got in. We just barely won the MAC, I think. And Cubic didn't like me too much. I'm a defensive guy, and and I didn't bring a whole lot to the table other than getting down and getting rough with the interior guys. Other than that, I was what I was. I got along with everyone. And I don't know if you guys remember, Pete, you do, Booth, you should. And he was running play. We had to cut the roster down for the travel in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I know he's my fraternity brother, my pledge brother, and all that, but they moved Snock the fullback, right, at a tight end. And they remember Carl Hunter?
Yeah.
Running back Hunter? Well, they had him in the wing. And I was playing D end. I guess Joel Rickards was at tackle. And so he blocks down, and Snock comes to, block me out. And they're running the shovel pass underneath the Hunter, right, to come up into that, C gap. Well, I blew Snock up, and then I blew Hunter up. and Hunter went flying, right? The ball went 10 yards, and we're inside Schwartz. We're inside for the
Field
practice,
house,
right?
yeah.
The field house. So Hunter goes flying one way, the ball goes the other way. Cubitt had his clipboard, and I looked at Cubitt. I said, I don't think that play's going to work, Coach. I wouldn't run that. Motherfucker, mad dog, throws it down, right? And and I loved it, man, because I finally was able to, see it, bud. I mean, that was it. And then I think what happened, guys, in the playoff game, I just think we ran out of juice. I just think there was just too much. There was just too much negativity. We're playing for each other. You guys are playing for each other. But I don't think people are running through the wall anymore like they did in 94. I think a lot and I can't answer for you guys, speak for you guys. But it just seemed like the run was just done with Cubitt and done with the season. And whatever happened, happened. Unfortunately, we ended up losing. Up there, right? Up there in Lyco.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just keep thinking, like kind of what George said, right? I mean, if it ain't broke, like don't fix it. We had like a three-headed monster, in that backfield, and if anything would change, the fullback position would change. But between like the wing back and what we were doing, I mean, and then going to that eye, then it's just like it changes everything because now you're not utilizing Gossett, you're not utilizing George, and then your focus is more on just that tailback, and it's just like then teams can just focus on that. Whereas we have two guys now, possibly three with that fullback. Anybody, could run the ball, and and that's why we're so dominant, in our run game.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I'm with you, George. I was like, man, I was very surprised, with that. So,
yeah, no, absolutely. And that wing tee, man, it's funny because when I first came over and I saw that wing tee, I'm like, man, this is not going to work. I wasn't a favor of it at all. Every time who's getting the ball, whoever's going in motion, they're getting the ball. You know what is happening. But when you run that thing to perfection, you block it up front. You got speed guys. It's nothing. You can literally tell them that they're getting the ball. You can't stop it, So
No.
Yeah.
I mean, you put it into practice. I mean, you saw it. I mean, you saw it. It was run to perfection in 94, literally. I mean, with thousands and thousands of yards with very little effort, carries. I mean, it was it was done. And I'm with you. I mean, I remember coming into camp in 95, not knowing this was going to happen. And I remember saying to you guys, who's getting 1,000? Who's getting 1,000? Because we didn't have a 1,000-yard rusher ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I would have bet anything and everything in my power to say, well, someone's going to get it. And if we would have stuck with what we were doing, and it was not to be. I mean, it changed. Obviously the offense changed for everybody. It was changed for. I mean, we went to full on no huddle, whole kind of. I mean, it was a complete different thing. I mean, we were all running like idiots, 100 mile an hour, and it was not easy to keep up with guys. It's from a lineman perspective too. I mean, we the responsibilities were much greater. The knowledge of what we needed to do, and they were calling plays from the line and all kind of crazy shit. It was a whole different game. I mean, it was less easy. It was a different feel. So it was I didn't agree with it either, but that's what we got. That's what it wasn't like it wasn't successful. I mean, we put up a lot of points in 95 too. I mean, it wasn't like we didn't have offense, but it wasn't the same feel. So
but right now we got three offensive guys, right? Yeah. Potential Americans. One of them is right on this podcast right now, and none of you ever got the reason or the why it got changed.
No, I said it.
What the thought process was.
I said it earlier, Gary. There was two main reasons. Number one, we were doing it for 3 years. People were going to figure it out. Number two, when we ran the option and the quarterback ran the ball, we only averaged 7 yards a carry. That's not enough. Boom. Full stop. We changed in the offense. Now, think of it in a few other aspects. Okay, he knew who was coming into camp. He also knew that we were going to be able to throw the ball. I mean, Vic could fucking throw the ball. He was super accurate, and we never really threw the ball that much. You know, he would go 9 for 14 for 160 yards, right? Like that's about, that was kind of average for him, right? There was a couple games more, maybe a little less, but but we could throw the ball, and we had a bevy of weapons at receiver too. I mean, everyone could catch the ball. Everybody. That guy up in the corner there, Joey Brannigan, Anthony
Yeah.
George. Oh, everyone could catch the ball. Everyone. Mike Mulholland. Everyone. So, why not? I mean, the philosophy, if you really do think about it, it does make sense. I mean, we were going to go away from a very run-heavy offense, change it up, and see if you can cover me. Because, like, I think about this talking to my kids and their team now, like they're going to start passing the ball more. And that's what they're saying. Well, why are we going to pass the ball more? Because you can always go back to run the ball. Let's add this part to it that we don't really have as much as we want, or maybe as good as we could be, right? If we can throw the ball, we can always throw the ball, even when we need to throw the ball. But we can always run the ball too. You don't lose that skill, right?
But Pete, you know this as an offensive lineman, brother. Running the ball is a mentality. I'm an old school guy, man. We're running first and then we're throwing off the bench, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because would you rather one block or pass block? I'm sure you want to get down and start driving.
Well, everybody likes to pass a run block, right? But
I'm just saying
I'm telling you, everybody likes to dominate with the run, right? I'm not saying that's
no
the
doubt.
truth.
And it opens,
but it is easier. It is easier to pass block. It is. It's very easy.
But it's the best thing for the team.
Well,
not when you got George, Robson, and Anthony sitting back there. You give those boys the horses the ball. Let's go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, honestly, with you three, and not taking away from Buta because he got his in '94 too, right? And he was our number one target when we threw the ball, right? But let me ask you a question: do you think the season may have gone different? Now it's hypothetical now, right? If you stayed with the '94 offense and pounded the football with those three horses we had, right? Doing what we did, and then let Vic. You ain't running option with Vic. No, Vic's not scaring anyone with his feet, right? And then you throw the ball. Is the season different? I always say if you can run it and master, like George said, if you remember the Titans, we ran 5 plays, we ran it perfect. No one stopped the stuff, right? But I'm just saying, what do you guys in your mind, like Bunta, George, you guys think it might have been different if you stayed with the '94 offense in '95?
Oh, you want to go first, George, or you what? Since you're the guest.
Hell yeah. It would have went different, man. It's something about being able to run the ball too. It takes the heart out of people when you could just see somebody keep pounding and nothing you can do and stop it. And we got these guys. We were seasoned by then. We had the mentality that we can run through you, run around you. Nobody ever in their life caught me from behind. So once I got in the open field, it was over, and any of the other backs can do that too. So I just thought that would have gave us, there's no way. I thought we did the defense a favor, to be honest with you. I thought we did the defense a favor by going to the eye and then starting to throw it a lot and all that stuff. And rather than taking away the weapons that we had. So, because we just made it easy. It is like, not to say that we had to run it all the time, but we made it easy for everything else to open everything else up. And I thought, like I forget, I think, Mad Dog, you said there's a lot of people getting injured. It would have cut down some of the injuries. I had to go play both ways, and ultimately that actually got me injured, honestly, because I was playing too much. I was tired, actually. Albright is when I got hurt. I was going literally both ways. I wasn't coming out the game. I was like Travis Hunter out there, you know. Yeah, and I remember seeing the guy hit me low. I saw it in like slow motion. It was nothing I could do. I was just tired, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it would have changed a lot of things. I thought our season would have been a lot. I was expecting literally. I had national championship expectations, no doubt. I had that year, and for that to start off the way it did, and then it pivoted into changing the offense, and then me having to go defense. Just it kind of like put a damper on my career, so to speak. So, I guess hey, it did give me the both ways feeling, be able to go both ways, which I hadn't did since high school, so which was kind of cool. But I would have rather not having to go that route and just play the game like we played it the year before and dominate. I think we would have dominated even more.
Yeah. What about you, Boone?
Yeah, like I mean, for me, I felt like, we had the guys, and kind of like George said, my expectation coming back, for our final year was we were going to take it to another level because we got Vic back, right? I mean, he was the key, to kind of like, control this offense, and all of our skill guys, we have everybody back, and our offense line, I mean, same thing. So there was just like, the change to me, it just didn't make sense because I'm always the guy that thinking, hey, anytime you could put three running backs out there, nobody's going to know who's going to get the ball. Even when we do go in motion, that person's going to get the ball. It's who's blocking and the blocking scheme, versus where you have the I formation, they can just totally focus on the tailback, and I think that's kind of where, defenses, then they would, I think would, maybe come up a little bit, and kind of like, maybe change the way we did things. But, for me, from a passing perspective, I mean, we could pass the ball from both offenses, right? That we didn't really have to change that. That's where my perspective is. And I didn't even care about like, hey, are we going to get the record this year, or are we going to get the yards this year? For me, it's just like I was chasing that dream of like, man, I would love to play for a national championship because Vic is back. We got that key player now. And I think if we had Vic the year before,
Yeah,
I mean, I
we're there.
thought we would,
Yeah.
we would have been pretty close, to that, that road.
I think
on
we
that
beat
road.
W and J. I think we at least beat
Absolutely.
W and J. I think we go to the Final Four. I think I don't know what happened
Yeah.
after that, but I mean WJ went to the Stag Bowl.
Yeah.
So I think
They won it.
no, they didn't win it. They lost in the
Oh,
finals.
they didn't win it?
But yeah, they lost in the finals. But I think we go to the finals. I mean that feels about right. But
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you. I would have liked to have stayed with that style of offense. I thought it was extremely effective. I thought it was very rewarding. I thought that, looking back and thinking about the teams that we played, I don't think they have much of a chance of stopping us. I mean, we really only lost one. Well, we really lost two key players on offense after that year. We lost, the best lineman ever, David Braxter, period. All
Yeah.
right. That was a massive hole that we didn't fill. And we
And we lost
lost,
the tight end, right,
uh,
to Freddie.
who was we lost
Westwood.
Freddie, but
Yeah.
I think we made up for that. But
Yeah.
he was, I think he was an okay blocker. I think he had a couple of catches, but not taking anything away from Freddie. But I think, and we lost Jimmy Burton. We didn't have Jimmy
Yeah.
Burton in '95, and that was another person that could stretch the field that was 6'4". So like that's a hard, those are hard, things to fill right now. But
Yeah.
now let me bring you I'll give you some information, and not to take anything away from you guys in your argument, but in the games that we played 11 games in 95, in one game we only scored 15 points. Of course, we lost to Lycoming, 5 field goals. Okay. So, and we had like almost 500 yards offense. We should have won that game by 20, 25 points easily. We never scored a touchdown. Okay. I don't know why. I don't remember why, whatever. And every other game, the lowest point total we had was 27. We put up a lot of fucking points in 95 and a lot of offense. I think we actually had more offensive yards and things like that than we did in 94, technically. But I could see both sides. Personally, of course, I would have stayed with what we had. I mean, it was working and no one was going to stop us. But, I think the defense they knew was weaker overall. We lost a couple of key people that, again, we didn't backfill, and they needed to change it up. They had a thought. That's what happened. It sucks, and I feel like you too, George. Like there was this, sour taste, from the season. Like I was so mad after the season that we didn't do what we set out to do. I didn't even go get the ring. I didn't buy a ring in 95. The championship ring. I'm like, fuck
I
that.
didn't.
I'm not getting.
I didn't either.
So I was like, I was really, really, and after, again, like I say, after Cubit blew us off, man, I was pissed. I would be okay if I never spoke to him again, and that's probably not a good thing, but I was upset. And I thought we were robbed from something that could have been real special. But again, I'll definitely lean more towards 94 offense versus anything else we did. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So what about this is another special situation. So particularly for the three of us, not Dog, but we got to play on both fields. We're the only team that really do that. There's only probably about 30 of us that have done that. Got any old memories from the hold on, he's talking to his lovely lady. This is probably over there.
Was trying to get a charger here. My phone's getting low.
Oh, there you go. We don't need to. Don't be dropping on us now, George. We're still rolling here, baby. Come on. So, all right, get yourself situated, man. We'll wait for you.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I got to get myself situated too. I got to go back to my desk and dock my my computer here. Oh man,
you guys are so. Oh man,
it sucks being old. My joints, my knees, man, they all hurt.
Oh
Man.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
The best thing about yeah, go ahead.
The worst is driving, man. You drive and then you get out of the car and you're like, like that's the worst. For me, that's the worst one, driving. Yeah.
Dude, like I don't even like the way I get out of bed these days with a foam mattress. I just roll myself out, dude. Like it just it's just like I put my one leg over and then I just slide out and and it's just like, yeah, I'm standing up now, So
Ooh, I'm good. Back.
There you go, baby. There we go. Look at that.
Where's Jackson? Jackson.
Mad Dog. But what were we saying?
I was just saying, we were a very small group of guys that were able to play on both fields. You got any memories from Memorial Stadium at all, George, from the old stadium? You mentioned a couple things earlier, but
Yeah.
Did you have any highlights that you could bring up from Memorial Stadium?
Yeah, my sophomore year, I remember. I think it was the very last game of the year. I think we played. I guess it was Del Val, maybe. But I had a really good game. And one of my best games up there. I think the best game up there. I got the ball, and I think someone had came through the hole, and I did a nice little spin move from him, and then I went, and then I just hit the hole. Probably the first time and the only time I got caught from behind. I got all the way to I thought I scored at the one, and they said I didn't score, so it was crazy. It was funny, but yeah, I ended up not getting that touchdown, but that was a good game. I think I had like 133 up there. It was like the very last game of the year there, and you could just feel like the optimism for the next year. at that
Yeah.
point. All right, we beat Del Valle. Like, all right, next year, because it was nice to see things build. Each year our record got a little better every year. So you could just tell, like, all right, junior year we're gonna kick some butt, and it was different from like my freshman year where I felt like I wanted to get out of there, but yet I didn't have the grades and whatnot. But by that time I was settled in. I was like, okay, I'm gonna be here. We're gonna have a really good team next year, and and we're building a new stadium and everything. So it was just a lot of optimism at the end of that year.
Yeah, it was. I'm with you, George. I mean, I think we had a couple of games in '92 that were close. We got a tie. We had a couple of games that maybe we could have won that we
That was
ended
my
up not
fault, the
winning.
tie.
Yeah, that's right. But and then '94, or I'm sorry, '93 was special. I mean, we started out 5-1. We were on fire. It was like, all right, we got some stuff moving here, and then we kind of crapped the bed for a little bit there, a little bit of a losing streak. But to win the last game ever there, and go out with a winning record and some, like you said, some serious optimism, and I mean, look, the whole thing was done by design. Like, when we all came in '92 and most of us started, or there was a bunch of freshmen starting, that was by design, right? I mean, Coach Zwan kind of talked about that when we talked to him last month. Like, they were going to bring in the new regime and build it up, and they thought it would take a few more years, but it ended up coming a lot quicker than they thought, and it was neat to see. But I mean, I always kind of liked Memorial Stadium. I always thought, like you said, the location was good, and it's a shame there's that's where the stadiums should be, I think. But
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, I did have the last touchdown on that field, and then
yeah,
what's crazy is I had the first touchdown on the new field.
that's
So.
right, you did. That's right. That's backflip
Hey,
city
Keith,
there,
hold
baby.
on. Someone wants to say hi to his uncles real fast.
Uh-oh.
Come here.
Yeah.
All right.
There
Say
he
hi to
is.
Uncle Pete.
Yo.
Hey, Uncle.
Get down.
What's
so you
up,
can
buddy?
see it. I see Boonton.
Hey,
Look at
Uncle
that.
What's up,
Boonton.
bud?
And there's
What's up,
George. There he is.
Hey, Uncle George.
Hey, what's going on? Bad
We
dog
talk
race
about
to
you
your right.
all the time, George. Yeah. He actually follows your son.
Oh, does he? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah, we're
going
very
into his
proud of him,
junior
buddy.
year.
Yeah.
He's going into his junior year, which is crazy, right? We're talking about
Oh
my
man,
He's
that's
going-
crazy.
We're
Is
very
right.
proud of you. So he wanted to say hi to you, bud.
Hey, nice to meet you. Keep up the good
Nice
work.
to meet you too. Yes,
Be
sir.
good there.
Okay.
Be good, big dog.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, guys.
So George,
He
what's
was
what's
excited
going on with
to say hi to you
what's,
guys.
what's going on with your son, man? Is he getting any looks yet at all? Anybody talking to him at all?
Oh man, I'm excited about him, man. I could talk about him all day because
Yeah.
they had a great year. They had like a year like we had our junior year. He had it his sophomore year. Where they went to regionals and um, was like a hair for going to super regionals. Kind of lost dramatically. We were up 4-1 and. We were up 4-1 in the ninth, and we had our big dog on the mound, and everybody has their day, and they basically came back and beat us in the ninth. Yeah, but he really stepped up, man. Had a great year. He had a home run that game, and yeah, he's just like blossomed. He's blossoming. I mean, which is crazy. Like he would, how I was. I was a gym rat. I was a big, cut up everything going in. He wasn't that type of kid, But from freshman to junior, man, freshman to sophomore, he really hit the weights, and he's you can see him, man. His shoulders all wide, and
Oh yeah.
he
He looks like you, man.
Yeah,
He looks
man.
like you when we were in
Yeah,
college,
yeah.
man.
Yeah,
So-
we'll see. The coach retired, but they actually says that the coach says he thinks he might have a shot. So we'll see. We'll just see how things play out.
Yeah.
The junior this year will be big for him. They lost a lot of players though, but a lot
Any
of seniors.
schools interested in him with all these transfers and all, things like that, or was
No,
there
I
any
don't.
talk?
he didn't get any talk like that directly or anything, so he didn't jump in. You know, it's so easy to jump in the portal nowadays. He said he
Yeah,
thought
yeah,
about it though, but you know,
yeah.
he's definitely looking forward to just. He's loyal to the team and he likes the team, so he's want to stick with them. We did lose
Yeah.
our closer this year, the one I said that was on the mound. And we lost that last game. He actually is going to Purdue.
Oh wow.
So
Oh wow.
yeah. So it's going to be interesting this year because they lost some folks, but I think it's going to be exciting at the same time because he's really going to have to step up because we lost a lot of leaders, a lot of the seniors.
Mm.
Yep. So should be good, man. It's really nice to see
What's
his
he playing?
development.
George Center?
Center field, yeah.
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 People always tease like, are you faster than your dad and all that stuff.
He looks pretty
Yeah,
fast though, man. He
He
looks
looks
pretty
pretty
fast when
fast.
he runs
Yeah.
those bases, man. So
yeah.
yeah.
Good for him, man.
That's
I can't
awesome.
imagine. I can't imagine him not getting some pro opportunities. I mean, baseball's so
Exactly.
big across, with the minors and all the other stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
there's, it's, I mean, I know there's a million kids out there, right, playing ball, but it just feels right. He seems to be getting a lot of
But
attention, which is cool. Yeah, it's nice to
Yeah,
see.
yeah, it's
the
very good. He's
the weird
actually coaching, helping out this summer with the Phillies. Actually, been doing some
yeah.
camps, some
Wow.
summer camps. Yeah,
So
That's
dude,
Lou. You
awesome.
remember Coach Orth? Coach
yeah,
Yeah,
Orth.
yeah.
Yeah,
He.
Louie.
I reached out to him. He hooked him up to
nice.
get
Wow.
in with the Phillies because he already was working with them. So I was like, well, I had no clue. That goes to show how powerful networking is.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
man,
absolutely.
What's Orth do with the Phillies? Is he like
he helped somehow. I don't
is
know
he
But
part of their
exactly what he
yeah,
did.
but
organization or
he's been coaching ever since. Boot. He was at Valley Forge Military Academy. I mean, he's
yeah,
been
yeah,
around, and he's like definitely one of those guys that knows how to get in to
yeah,
things.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think he's got a good network of people. I mean,
Awesome.
I mean, any one of us could do that. Could call up any one of those old coaches, and they're going to
Yeah.
take your phone call, and they're going to do whatever they can for you because of what we built and the relationship, right? So, I mean, that just goes to show you, you know, what you meant to him, George. And
Yeah.
what and he didn't, we didn't burn any bridges or anything like that. We were always good kids and obviously graduated and all that stuff and stand-up citizens. So why wouldn't he put a phone call in for you, right? Like
Uh,
it's a good thing, man. It's a beautiful thing.
He
Absolutely.
used to be a Philadelphia cop,
Yeah.
Did he? Okay, I
Louie.
didn't
Well,
know that.
that's how he got into coaching. He got
Yeah.
out of because he got hurt and he was on
Yeah, he
disability.
got injured. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was on
Uh,
disability and they got into coaching. Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
the pivot.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
remember
I
real
remember
fast
that.
with
I remember that.
with, with Coach Worth. We're in the field house getting ready for practice, and he wanted to keep screwing around with me. And you remember the big match for the pole vaulting and all that?
Yeah.
I said, Coach, look, we're not playing game. That's it. We're done. And he kept on going. I picked him up and body slammed him on the mat. And he's such a good guy, man. He's he was always a good guy. He was always good to me. So I'm glad he's doing real well, Louie.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I stay in touch with him too. He's on Facebook and all that stuff, so
Yeah.
it's easy to do, right? Yeah, it's easier to do now than writing a letter to somebody.
Yeah,
So-
right.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man, that's funny.
I thought Lou was the Philly fanatic.
Yeah, he might be, man, incognito. Might be.
I'll tell you guys one little story. I don't even remember the name of this guy. It was our first year in camp in '92. Um, I think he was a receiver or something. He was I think he was like he was an Asian guy kind of
Oh,
but not yeah. I don't know if you remember this guy. You remember this guy? You remember
yeah.
what was his name? I can't remember his name.
Is that the
But,
440 guy? What was his?
yeah, y'all remember that, right?
Isn't it like isn't it Yan or Yan? Does that
Jan.
sound familiar?
Jan.
Yeah,
Jan. I think it was
Yan.
You know, because it was like the whole, he was worried about getting a spot, because there was so many people, you know. And I remember him loud and like in the locker room. He was like, "What I gotta do? What I got to do around here?" He said, "What I got to do? Run a 4-4 like George Jones? Huh? What I got to do to get a spot around?" Yo, to this day, I always say that, man. Like, what I got to do? I always keep saying, "What I got to do? What I got to do?"
You got to run a 4-4-40.
He was the funniest dude, man. I don't even know if he was trying to be funny, but he was funny, man. Oh my god!
No, I think that guy was dead serious, George. He was like, because he didn't stick around. He knew it was like, there's no fucking way I'm gonna get a chance. There's no way.
I think he did stick through our entire season with
Might have
like
stuck,
playing
yeah.
on the JV side.
Maybe.
But
yeah.
after that, then I think he just called it quits.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was one of
There
the
was
funniest
some, I mean,
sayings,
I tell you,
man.
there were some serious characters, man. I mean, I remember going into the locker room one time. This might have been in '93, and do you remember there was a big lineman? He was a guy who like transferred around. His name was Steve Bloom. Big giant dude, bald head, big goatee, whatever. And he was, and this was after one of the practices, and he was laying in the middle of the floor, and it was concrete floor, in his jock strap, like spread out like this. Like, what do you do, Blue? This is the coolest place I could find. Like, dude, go take a shower, man. Come on. Like, just a big 300-pound guy in his jockstrap laying on a concrete like Jesus, like this.
You know how nasty that floor was.
Oh man, yeah. Yeah. Seriously, man. How we all didn't come away with, I don't know, how many diseases, I don't even know. Oh my God.
They're great times, man.
Oh my goodness, man.
Best
I'll
times
tell
of
you.
my life.
No doubt, man.
I swear. What else you guys got for
Best
George,
time.
man? Anything else?
Hey, George, you still talk to Anthony at all? Gossip? Do you still keep in touch?
Yeah, here and there we'll like, I'm not like, every week or nothing, but here and there, like maybe every month or so, I'll hit him up or he'll hit me up out the blue. So yeah, and every now and then we get together. Like last year, we actually went to a high school football game because Chester played Bartram up there.
Mm.
So we went to his field and played, and they actually did work on it. I was surprised their field was nice because it was pretty beat up for a while there. But yeah, that was one of the last times I got with him. But he's doing good.
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 Yeah, it's
That's
good to hear.
awesome.
Got to get a hold of him, man, and get him on here too. Just we're building a list up, George. We got, I don't know, 30 guys, something like that we want to get on here and just, keep hitting it up every month and doing this exactly this, man. Just capturing stories, having some fun, bullshitting, reconnecting, and putting it out there. And like I said, we're planning on accumulating a few more, and then I have a YouTube channel ready, and I actually have videos on there. I just have them all set to private, and I'm gonna, I'll just let everybody know, hey, they're out there, go for it, and you guys can just catch up and watch them again and whatever, and just enjoy it, just whatever, man. And then it's out there, you know what I mean? And it's just harmless. It's all harmless, good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been a blast, man. Just for like reminiscing, talking about things, man. It's funny how, like I said, we use the word lens, right? Everybody got different lens, sharing their feeling on everything. So, it's good to once you put all this stuff together, man. All these different moments that we have, and probably could go on for hours.
Oh,
Stuff we
yeah.
even forgot about, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Just don't,
So,
just don't make us run the 16 110s anymore. And
Oh, the
I'll do
110s,
whatever.
man. The infamous 110s. People running back to their cars.
Yeah.
and running straight home.
That's right. The night train, baby. The night train. That's
Yeah.
it, man. Oh, shit.
Night
Yeah.
train, yep.
That's it, baby. Good. Good.
So George, are you gonna be at homecoming at all this year? Any thoughts or any plans?
You know what?
Hitting up a Widener game?
I went last year actually, and
You
it's
did?
just not the same.
Yeah.
Nobody, I didn't recognize anybody. Nobody was there, you know, that
Yeah.
I knew of, man. I mean, a few people did come that, you know, but yeah, it just didn't feel the same. Like, I mean, definitely would love it if some of you guys would come and whatnot, and we could
Yeah.
get together. Yeah, I guess we would be coming up. I know they honored the '94 team. What was that? That was their
Couple
10
years
years.
ago.
What was that? Was that 20 years?
Yeah. So it's been more than 10 years since we've done that. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll do a 25, something like that. That'd be pretty cool.
Guys, I mean, you just got to get organized, George. I mean, that's always the issue. Someone's got to, these great ideas happen, but nobody does anything about it. Nobody puts any muscle behind it. So
Yeah.
that's what's going on. So anyway, yeah, well, I mean,
we got to do it, man. You know, I can't tell you the last time we saw anyone in the fraternity, let alone the '94 team. It's just, and I know it takes a lot, everyone's part. I mean, Pete, you're in Tampa, I'm in Texas, but it'd be nice to put some aside to say, hey, we're having this reunion, and everyone get back together, as many as we can. Life's too short, man. And I'll tell you, you guys don't know how much it means to me, right? And I know I tell Pete and Boont all the time, George, but I talk about you guys all the time, all the experiences. I know it was many years ago. I'm 51 now, right? But that right there were the best times that I can remember of just being truly who I was. And you guys accepted it, right? So for me, it means something. I know it does for you guys too. But to put something together like that, to go back and see everyone, because we can't get everyone on the podcast or everyone at one time, that'd be awesome. That'd be really cool. Especially see where everyone is in their life now, right, Buta? Now that a lot of us are dads and married and we're old and I can barely move now, and it'd be cool to see everyone and how we all aged. But we all have that in common. We all went through it together, the good, the bad, the ugly. So I definitely fly up for that for sure. I would definitely do it.
Absolutely.
I don't think I'd fly up for homecoming, like George said, if there wasn't going to be a lot of people there.
No, you got to arrange something. I mean, that's,
it would have to be for like a big reason like that.
Yeah, there's got to be a reunion of sorts, guys. And it's got to have a little bit of planning, and it's probably all, it's probably not too late to do something, but I mean, you could easily, for people in the area, you could make something happen. And the school back whatever you want. I mean, the Brotherhood has money to do things and stuff like that. So there's opportunity to do it. It's just a matter of who's local that wants to run with it. That's really what it comes down to. And then, I can't, doing things remotely doesn't work out that well for me. So you gotta push things to people that can do it locally and go from there. But I mean, set it up. Right? Set it up, brother. Come on now.
Yeah.
Take their
We got a lot of names that we want to see. Coach Swan would be there for sure. Yeah. He would be part of that. It was awesome seeing him, man. It really was. It would just be cool. It doesn't even have to be during the football season. It doesn't have to be at why. It's just getting everyone together and say, look, this is going to be the date. This is where it's going to be at. and let the games begin.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, Buta, we're never going to see Buta. He's all tied up with the kid. He's got everything: football, wrestling.
Yeah.
I miss him.
Listen,
You know?
it's just I would say this is probably the last year, like once it's always that older kid, like once he can drive and do his own thing, and I feel like that helps,
Yeah.
the driving
Yeah.
and everything else. But like I said, I'm local too, like but we can start thinking about it and plan, not this year is too late, but next year, I can definitely,
Yeah.
now I got George, here, and
Yeah.
and I know George works with a couple Widener guys, at Vanguard, and you
Yeah.
can you can persuade them as too, and I talk to them here and there, and like I said, we'll figure a week, that we can all get together, and we'll
That'd be
arrange
awesome.
something. At least,
That'd be awesome.
I'll put that
Let
on my
Joey Weiss
list here,
know. He'll get a hold of a bunch of people.
So
Weiss, we'll get a hold of a
yeah,
lot.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Hey,
You
I'll work
know?
with you both for sure. We can work. Hey, I'm literally the closest to Widener.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Seriously. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You walk there
We'll
almost, but
we'll coordinate that.
yeah. Good.
Let's
Good.
That'd
Good
be
to hear.
awesome.
let's think about it for next year. We can, and
Yeah.
then work with a coach, and then see, like, they can maybe, like I said, do some honoring, of like like the two championship teams, so we get more people to come,
Yeah.
not just like our team,
Exactly.
our year,
Mhm.
so
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean,
94,
and just let
95.
me know.
Yeah.
Let you feel free to bring me in because we could fund things too from the brotherhood. So
yeah, yeah,
just let us know. All
yeah.
right.
That'd be
Good.
All right.
awesome. I
That's
mean, if you
right.
look at their schedule now, guys, I don't even know half of the teams they play now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different now.
Yeah, it's a
Just
little
like two
different.
to three. So
You
it's a
know,
different
Still,
no more
schedule.
Wilkes, no
still
more
got Del
Lycoming,
Val.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's just, I mean, like the guys the teams that we used to play, right? I mean, they're, the competition, that we had, you know, like Susquehanna, year in, year out, right? The competition, Lycoming, Wilkes,
Oh yeah.
you never know, and again, Del Val now is like, running the MAC conference, for the past, what, 9-10 years,
Well, longer than
and
that.
Yeah.
It's
dominant.
been
Yeah,
way
they've been
longer than that.
dominant, and
Yeah.
you know, now I see like Stevenson, coming up, and all these other teams are like, again, it's kind of like a equal playing field. Like anybody could win it now. It seems like the teams that used to dominate are not dominating anymore, in this conference, So, but yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. It is.
That'd be good, guys.
Yeah. If you win the conference, you're in the tournament. So that's
yeah,
that's
That's
the
it.
key part. It's not like it used to be. So it's an automatic bid service now. So we'll see.
yeah.
But well, George, again, it was a pleasure, my man. I appreciate you joining us. Appreciate you sharing your stories and your
Man.
perspective. It was great having you on. It's great talking to you again, connecting again, and we'll continue to stay in touch. And once this becomes live, we'll certainly share it out to everybody, and you guys can enjoy it from there.
Hey, thanks for having me, fellas. This was a pleasure, man. Pleasure
Yeah.
talking to you guys, seeing you guys again. I feel like you're right there, but thanks to technology, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, exactly true. Good.
You
absolutely.
look great, George. You look great.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep in touch with you, buddy. All
Please
right.
do.
And
Please
I
do.
love you, man. I miss you. And, you know, you're always one of my favorite, pal. That's for sure.
Love you too,
So,
Mad Dog, man. I love
yeah,
all you guys, man.
my
Same here,
guy.
brother. Yeah,
All right, brother,
Yep.
man.
absolutely.
Love you, bro.
Same
So
here.
keep
All right,
posting
guys.
those like muscles, man. I mean, I tell my
Yeah.
I
You're
tell my kid, I'm
embarrassing
like,
us over
listen,
here, bud. God,
I have to get
Yeah.
you on the George Jones formula, because he needs to gain like
jeez.
15, 20 pounds,
Yeah.
man.
Eat some
So
cake or something, man. What the
he eats, but it just, I don't know. I don't
Come
know.
on now.
So
Come on.
we'll just have
Just
to
all
get some
these
George
pictures of
Jones.
himself lifting. I mean, he's bigger, muscular now than he was when we played. God, he's making me look bad. Jackson's like, why do you look like George, Dad? Yeah, right. Okay,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
carry on.
Yeah.
I got to keep up with my athletic son and everything. Can't let him outdo me.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's never going to outdo you, buddy. He's never going to outdo Dad. I'll tell you that much.
We'll see. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I appreciate it, guys. We'll talk soon.
All right.
guys.
All right. Thanks,
See you,
guys.
Peace out.
George.
Be
See
good.
ya.
All right, bud.
Bye.
All right, guys.
That was good.